I have this rusty hammerhead and I found it and I want to make it not rusty. So to get all the rust off, I'm going to bathe it in a bath of vinegar. So I've left the hammer in the vinegar for about a month. Bit more time than you need to, but it'll have got rid of all of the rust. Might be able to see there's a kind of froth around the vinegar, and that is just all of the rust that's come off the hammer. So I can take it out now, give her a good scrub, and then we'll do the next bit. Now she's looking really nice already. You really can tell there's a really nice difference, and it's kind of got a grey blue tinge to it. But somebody at some point has done a DIY repair to it for some reason. Can't quite work out what it was, but I think they welded on a metal handle. But to clean it up fully, we're going to bathe it in warm water. Now this is actually hot water, but it's close enough. Now warm water is good for cleaning the metal, but it's not good enough. So what we also need is some bicarbonate of soda. And this does some chemical-y stuff and makes it better. Now, saying that the bicarbonate of soda does some chemically stuff isn't really a good explanation, so I'm going to do a very simple explanation. Vinegar. Now, vinegar is acidic, so how that works is you pour the vinegar on a rusty item, and the acid, when the item is soaked in the vinegar, eats away at the rust, because the rust is basically the outer layer of the metal that has oxidized with the air and therefore is rusted, and it eats away at the rust and it eats away and it keeps eating away at the metal until you're left with all the rust gone and a shiny piece. But if you leave the vinegar on, it's still acidic and it's still going to keep eating away and make the material smaller and smaller. Now it's going to take a long time, but it's going to get smaller and smaller. So we use something alkaline, which is bicarbonate of soda, and it neutralizes the vinegar, which stops it doing anything and basically ceases everything altogether, and you're just left with a nice shiny metal piece, or in this case a grey looking bit. And much like a pot noodle, you want to keep moving this about, sloshing it and stirring it to make sure that all of the areas get penetrated and cleaned. I took the hammer out of the alkaline solution and it's looking really good and clean, and I've just been drying it, but I've been noticing that it seems to be rubbing off quite a lot of dirt. I've scrubbed it, but I don't understand where it's coming from and what it is. So I'm just going to sand it down and see what happens basically. So the head is looking and feeling a lot better. However, it was rather dirty. There was like a whole black residue over the whole thing. I think it was the rust that had come off had like semi-reattached again or something in the vinegar solution. I don't know. Anyway, it's clean now, so let's oil her up. We've got a wee plastic tub here so I don't get oil over my tiles. There's the hammerhead, and pretty simple. You just dab on some oil, and then you can even just use your hand and just rub it in, you know. That's about it. This just seals it up from rust, and this way it is nice and it's oily, so it won't rust. Wow, incredible science terminology. There's like a piece of metal welded inside. It's obviously somebody welded on a metal handle, and I hammered very, very hard and I couldn't get it out. So instead, I'm just going to use a thin bit of wood, and because I'm stingy, I'm going to reuse this bit, which is very short and very thin, but it'll just about do. On second thought, perhaps I'll just make a regular shaft for it.